in that cycle, if you spent the money and then you're looking around and then Al look out for you, that person is Al Heyman. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to stay loyal to Al Heyman because he keep looking out for you when you burn the money down before you go fight again. You know what I'm saying? So even they got this thing where they're prone to commitment. Somebody beat him, that's who he is.
You think he should step back in the ring?
I think he got to right now because the money gone.
So the money's really gone?
Yeah. That's what you think. It's fight, get the money, spend the money, fight.
All that money?
It's been 2 years.
So is it just his overhead is so high on a day-to-day, month-to-month? Like
I don't even want to talk about it. Like with the lifestyle, that money's gone, trust me. Now it's like, you call him, he'll be at your local hosting in a nightclub because you need that action.
What started as playful online trash talk has exploded into something far bigger and far more serious than anyone expected. The long-running tension between Curtis 50 Cent Jackson and Floyd Money Mayweather has shifted from celebrity banter into a storm of accusations involving money, business practices, and potential federal attention. This is no longer two famous figures trading insults for entertainment. In recent months, 50 Cent has positioned himself as a whistleblower of sorts, presenting detailed claims and demanding that investigators take a closer look at Mayweather's financial empire. According to him, the spotlight should be on the enormous paydays from Floyd's biggest fights, how those earnings were documented, where the money moved afterward, who received what share, and where tens of millions ultimately ended up once the lights in the arena dimmed.
Business venture that you may have missed out on that people don't know that you'd be like, damn, I could have got that.
I could have did it with a cannabis company out here in Vegas. It was big. It's a big company. And then I passed on the can because I was investing in spirits.
Right.
You can't do both at the same time. Like, so I was like, nah. I just chose to do that. Because I had so much success with the spirits. Right. Like I was in.
The Grammy-winning rapper and TV producer argues there's a deeper reason why the fighter once billed as boxing's greatest now travels the world doing exhibition matches instead of headlining major US arenas. Jackson claims that Mayweather's return to certain legendary venues is unlikely, not due to formal bans, but because of unresolved financial obligations. He specifically points to iconic locations such as Las Vegas's biggest arenas and New York's Barclays Center, suggesting that substantial debts remain unpaid. For years, promoters and venue owners reportedly tolerated delays because Mayweather fights generated massive revenue, but according to 50 Cent, patience eventually runs out. Adding fuel to the fire is Jackson's own story about investing roughly $2 million into Mayweather's brand while the boxer was serving a prison sentence, money he says vanished without acknowledgement or repayment. Beyond that, he alleges Mayweather and close associate Leonard Ellerby, along with a team of lawyers, took advantage of young fighters by burying unfavorable terms deep inside complicated contracts.
Yeah.
This looked like a friendship that was gonna last a lifetime. What the hell happened between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather?
Well, he changed his mind.
Now, what do you mean he changed his mind?
Like, as he was actually going in,
Jackson has been brutally direct about what he believes Mayweather Promotions actually represented. In his view, the company wasn't a long-term business venture, but rather a carefully crafted illusion. He has gone as far as describing it as one of the most elaborate financial schemes ever seen in professional sports. According to 50, the operation was built to maintain the image of Floyd as a self-made billionaire while hiding the true mechanics behind the scenes. He claims the company misled partners, confused rival promoters, and took advantage of fighters who trusted the brand. Rather than seeing the company as a business that made mistakes, Jackson frames it as something closer to a calculated operation, complete with questionable paperwork and financial reporting that allegedly diverted significant portions of fight revenue away from Scrutiny.
To jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather Promotions.
Right.
Then as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather Promotions. There's no LLC, there's no CEO.
The accusations become even more serious when 50 Cent talks about how fighters were allegedly paid. He claims Mayweather routinely understated the total earnings from major events. According to Jackson, official numbers were reduced on paper, allowing smaller payouts to opponents, while the undisclosed remainder stayed elsewhere. Furious over what he describes as a pattern, 50 publicly encouraged every boxer who ever fought Mayweather to consult lawyers and investigate their contracts. In his words, many of them may have received far less than they were owed. The claims gained traction when a former fighter associated with Mayweather's camp spoke publicly, describing how he completed a difficult fight only to receive a paycheck that was drastically smaller than what had been promised beforehand.
It just, once you get around someone, you be looking up to these people so bad, and like once you get around, they don't be who they say they is or who they portray to be. You be like, damn, I was 21 at the time, and I haven't fought in like 7 or 8 months. He was like, you gotta fight this fighter, which is Joseph Pedraza. You don't fight him, you're not fighting. You're like sitting on a show. So I had to fight him. I got evicted. I had to sell my drawer. They were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept Snapchatting. So they sent it to Floyd, and Floyd bugged out. He would say that he gave me like money to get my mom out.
A central figure in Jackson's narrative is Leonard Ellerby, whom he portrays as the operational driver behind the promotional machine. According to 50 Cent, Ellerby helped maintain the system for years, ensuring it ran smoothly and profitably. But Jackson believes such arrangements eventually collapse when the profits slow down. As opportunities decreased and the supply of new fighters shrank, he says the partnership between Mayweather and Ellerby began to fracture. What once appeared to be an unbreakable alliance reportedly dissolved quickly once the money flow tightened, ending in a high-profile split that many observers noticed across the boxing industry.
Based on that, even though they got the fight in itself give them an appetite for a lot of women,
Right.
but they still commit to someone because they want someone to be with them when they're on their lowest points.
Mm-hmm. You still watch boxing?
Yeah.
Who your favorite fighter right now?
Right now, I'm working with Bud, man.
When people finally see the real story behind the champion, the legend they believe in might not survive. 50 Cent once said during a revealing interview that caught the attention of both the music and sports worlds. Speaking on Power 106 radio, Jackson described how a friendship built on loyalty gradually unraveled because of business disputes. He explained that before serving his jail sentence, Mayweather allegedly asked him to help keep their promotional venture alive. At the time, 50 agreed out of trust and belief in their partnership, but when he began examining the company's documents and financial structure, he says what he discovered was completely different from what he had been led to believe.
You had a boxing promotion company once.
Yeah.
What happened with the boxing promotion company?
That really happened, Ken, because of my relationship with Floyd. You know what I mean? I didn't have interest in being a promoter like out the gate. It was just, he was doing Mayweather promotions at the time, and then he had to do 90 days. He was going to jail, and he had fighters. He had Marcus Gamboa. He had guys that was just lingering.
As Jackson dug deeper, he claims he realized Mayweather Promotions barely existed as a formal company. According to him, there were no clear corporate filings, no structured leadership, and no proper organizational framework. Instead, it functioned more like a powerful brand name than a traditional business entity. Jackson alleges that much of the operational work was actually handled behind the scenes by Golden Boy Promotions, while Floyd's name remained front and center for publicity. Determined not to abandon the industry, 50 Cent decided to create a legitimate promotional company himself. He launched TMT Promotions, later rebranded as SMS Promotions, and invested heavily in signing credible boxing talent. Fighters such as Yuri Gamboa, Andre Dirrell, Billy Dibb, and Celestino Caballero joined the roster as he attempted to build a serious operation.
It's lingering. I'm like, champ, if they're gonna leave. If you go to jail, they're just gonna leave. Like,
right.
And he had been giving them 50,000 and 50,000 and 50,000. He had already gave Gamboa about 300,000 to jail on the side, and then we ended up, when he did go in.
During the time Mayweather was serving his sentence, 50 Cent says he was busy managing fighters, negotiating deals, and investing money to grow the promotion. He expected those efforts to strengthen their partnership once Floyd returned. Instead, Jackson claims the atmosphere changed immediately after Mayweather's release. Rather than reviewing the business side of things, Floyd allegedly resumed a lavish lifestyle, purchasing luxury cars, expensive jewelry, and celebrating his freedom. When 50 later asked about the funds invested during that period, he says Mayweather denied approving those decisions entirely. To Jackson, that moment represented both financial loss and personal betrayal. He also questioned the role of longtime advisor Al Heyman, wondering why someone with such experience would allow a star athlete to operate without the oversight of major financial institutions.
I ended up picking up all the fighters.
Right.
And so Shiraka Gamboa, I had James Kirkland, Andre Dirrell, Billy Dibb, he was the IBF champion at that point, and then a few other guys, younger guys.
Despite the conflict, 50 Cent insists his love for boxing remains unchanged. He believes the sport could thrive with better business structures and transparency. But while Jackson focuses on what boxing could become, Mayweather's financial situation continues to draw attention. Industry insider Rick Glazer released reports suggesting Floyd's fortune might not be as secure as his extravagant lifestyle implies. For many observers who had heard Jackson's warnings over the years, those reports sounded less like new revelations and more like confirmation of suspicions that had been circulating for a long time.
F and Vodka was at like 43,000 cases. I took it to 216,000 cases in 16 months.
What is, and to the audience that doesn't know, what's that equivalent to in money-wise?
Oh, shit.
43,000 cases, 216,000 cases. What's that equivalent?
It was like, before we parted ways, they gave me 20 million.
Right.
Right. But, and there was that company, and it was on the same model that Puff's deal was with Diageo. So like they made that.
The rivalry intensified again when news surfaced that Mayweather supposedly invested $42 million into New York real estate, acquiring dozens of residential buildings with more than 1,000 apartments. On the surface, the purchase seemed like a smart move for long-term wealth. But during an appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Floyd made a bold statement, saying he owned over 100 buildings, most of them in New York City. To casual viewers, it sounded like the claim of a successful entrepreneur. To 50 Cent, it sounded like exaggeration.
I just
all this money made. No partners. All by myself. Over 1,000 apartments. I'm just getting started.
Jackson quickly responded on Instagram with one of his signature viral posts. His main point was simple: someone who truly owns more than 100 buildings would know the exact number. The phrase, somewhere over 100, he argued, sounded like someone guessing. In the same post, he mocked Floyd by calling him the richest special ed student, a comment that immediately spread across the internet. Jackson's message carried a deeper implication. Either Mayweather exaggerated his real estate empire on national television, or the people managing his finances weren't telling him the full truth.
Yo, when you gonna give me the money?
Because you'd already invested.
Yeah.
Right, like when you gonna give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail, right? So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big, and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardlessly. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, you know?
Beyond the jokes, 50 Cent raised a serious financial concern. By publicly claiming ownership of such a large property portfolio in New York, Floyd had effectively placed himself under the spotlight of tax authorities. Jackson pointed out that federal, state, and city taxes could take more than half of reported income in some cases. If the properties were real and producing revenue, that tax burden would be enormous. Jackson argued that Mayweather's advisors might be surrounding him with the appearance of wealth while quietly benefiting themselves. To illustrate his point, he posted an edited image portraying Floyd as Pinocchio, implying the 100 buildings claim was an obvious stretch of the truth.
I just
all this money made. No partners. All by myself. Over 1,000 apartments. I'm just getting started.
Over 100 buildings and almost all in New York? Come on, champ, Jackson wrote before signing off with his familiar green light gang phrase. The post became another viral moment in a feud that has lasted well over a decade. Over the years, both men have occasionally hinted at reconciliation. Floyd has even referred to 50 Cent as his brother in interviews, suggesting misunderstandings fueled their falling out. But each time that olive branch appears, Jackson rejects it, believing the gestures are more about controlling public perception than repairing their relationship.
Mayweather. And it was,
you know what happens is because, look, we've been friends since 2002. He had flew to Puerto Rico to be at Mixed Show Power Summit before my music even took off in 2003.
Oh, wow.
So me and Floyd is like even when I fight with him, I don't hate him. That's my boy.
Yeah.
I still.
At its core, the disagreement always circles back to the same issue: money. and trust. Jackson maintains that he invested millions into building a promotional company, while Floyd was unable to manage his affairs. He says he signed fighters, financed operations, and took financial risks because he believed in their partnership. But once Mayweather returned to the spotlight, Jackson claims those obligations were ignored. Floyd's public response has been far less detailed, usually emphasizing that true friendships survive disagreements and expressing hope that Jackson's entertainment projects continue succeeding. Yet 50 Cent insists he isn't interested. In kind words, what he wants, he says, is acknowledgement of what actually happened.
Like my brother, we just don't get along because I don't need him for nothing. He don't need me for nothing. So every now and then he goes, and then he goes, yo, what's up, Five? What you doing? Nothing, everything good.
All right, good.
And we go back to everything being cool, but he act funny in between time.
He is the greatest ever, though.
No, absolutely. You ever heard me make reference to him and not call him champ?
As the feud has continued, the attacks have sometimes turned personal. Jackson has repeatedly referenced Mayweather's past relationship drama, including the highly publicized moment when Floyd's longtime partner moved on with rapper Nelly. The topic resurfaces frequently in Jackson's posts, often used as another way to needle the boxing legend. Even when 50 briefly appears sympathetic, such as during waves of bankruptcy rumors surrounding Floyd, the tone rarely stays gentle for long. In one post, he said it was sad seeing negative stories about someone he once called a brother, but quickly added that he was the only person in Floyd's circle who didn't depend on him financially. That independence, he said, allowed him to speak freely.
Said that 50 Cent knocked Mayweather out. Nope. I didn't knock Floyd out. I should have knocked Floyd out. It's kind of hard to hit Chap. Even when he's standing right in front of you, start moving and with the shoulder block and everything, so it get hard to hit Chap.
This idea forms the core of Jackson's criticism. He argues that Mayweather has surrounded himself with people whose livelihoods rely on his money and status. According to 50, that environment creates an echo chamber where nobody challenges the boss. In contrast, Jackson emphasizes that he built his own career and income, meaning he doesn't rely on Floyd's approval. That independence, he suggests, makes him a threat because he's willing to say things others won't. Since retiring from professional boxing in 2017 with a perfect 50-0 record, Mayweather has focused heavily on presenting himself as a business mogul, yet questions about how his fortune is managed continue to follow him.
To mirror that.
Right.
So this why I was like, no more puffy juice. And not because we had no specific beef,
Right.
Ken, but we had a competing product
Right.
at that point. So if my corner is over here, your corner is over there, I got to make my corner feel cooler.
Right.
And he wasn't producing any new music or anything new that would make him cooler at that point. So it's like, I'll just stay active and keep putting it out there. You know what I mean? And but look, those things, it worked. You know, it worked during the...
Mayweather's most powerful defense against critics has always been the visual spectacle of wealth. Private jets, diamond-covered watches, luxury mansions. His lifestyle is designed to project overwhelming financial success. But as 2025 unfolds, even the basic question of his net worth remains widely debated. Some respected sports publications estimate his fortune at around $500 million, while others claim it could exceed $1.2 billion. Such a massive gap between estimates raises obvious questions about transparency and accuracy.
That is there, but they did get funny after I owned the companies.
Right.
So it's cool for the work for them.
When you work for them, but when
As soon as you start not working for them, shit get a little different. And this is when, you know, like, don't think that the stuff that you see from Puffy is not.
A difference of $700 million between reported figures isn't a minor discrepancy, it's a massive uncertainty. It suggests that much of Mayweather's wealth could be tied up in assets that aren't easily converted to cash, or perhaps supported by complex debt structures that aren't publicly known. Another possibility, as Jackson often argues, is that parts of the empire are exaggerated for image purposes. A more cautious estimate might place his accessible wealth closer to $750 million. Even so, Floyd's career earnings remain extraordinary. His mega fight with Conor McGregor alone reportedly generated massive income, including millions just for brand rights. But after taxes, spending, and management costs, the question remains, how much of those enormous paydays actually stayed under his control?
You see what I'm saying? He fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on
like the
every show.
negotiations and the imprint, the paperwork.
They build the whole show. So when he says helping with Mayweather Promotions. And
between taxes, the high cost of maintaining a luxury lifestyle, and ongoing claims that people close to him may have benefited from his wealth, the Money Mayweather brand faces growing scrutiny. Jackson appears determined to keep pushing the issue, insisting the public deserves a clearer picture of the boxer's financial reality. Whether the truth reveals a wealthy athlete who simply made risky financial choices, or something more troubling, attention around the subject continues to grow. At this point, flashy Instagram posts showing private jets and luxury watches may not be enough to silence critics.
Well, I gotta get. Well, guess what Papa bought? Guess what Papa bought you for? You bought me this? Young girl, I got you a gift. Guess what I bought you?
So, Floyd, man, like, you got everything, you got the skyscrapers, you got the cars, you got the houses, you got, what's next?
What I'm working on now, I don't really want for nothing. I don't really want for nothing. I mean, it's crazy that, when people say, when you post.
Ultimately, this entire saga is about legacy. Mayweather wants history to remember him as an undefeated champion who turned on his athletic success into a powerful business empire. Jackson, on the other hand, claims the story behind that empire is very different, one filled with questionable deals, disputed finances, and exaggerated assets. As new information continues to surface, the public and the boxing world will eventually decide which narrative seems closer to reality, and once that judgment settles, it will shape how Floyd Mayweather's legacy is remembered.
You had the label, right? Did you ever think about getting the music again, like helping some artists?
Well, I've been working, a lot of tours, a lot of huge tours.
Oh, okay.
For years. You guys never seen my name on a lot of tours, but I was behind a lot of major tours that was done. A lot of major artists.
That's where Al Heyman came from, right?
Exactly.
The Budweiser Superfest.
Outside the ring, Mayweather has continued expanding into real estate and other investments. Reports claim he recently purchased dozens of multifamily properties in Upper Manhattan for around $42 million, adding more than 1,000 rental units to his holdings. At the same time, his taste for luxury remains obvious, from multi-million-dollar birthday celebrations in Miami to a garage filled with exotic cars, including Bugattis and other high-end models. His spending habits still make headlines. Yet despite all the displays of wealth, rumors about financial problems continue to circulate. So what do you think? Is 50 Cent exposing uncomfortable truths or simply fueling a personal feud? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation.